அமீரக தமிழகம் நண்பர்கள் அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். நான் சிவபாலன் பேசுறேன். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி நலமோடு நாம் இரண்டாவது பாகம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு உங்களை அன்போடு வரவேற்கிறேன். வரவேற்புரை மற்றும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ் அவங்கள பத்தி கொஞ்சம் டீட்டெயிலா பேசுறதுக்கு திரு சங்கர் அவர்கள் அழைக்கிறேன்.
அமீரக தமிழக உறுப்பினர்கள் மற்றும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை பார்த்து கொண்டு இருக்கும் தமிழ் மக்கள் அனைவருக்கும் அமீரக தமிழகம் மையக்குழு மற்றும் விழாக்குழு சார்பாக இனிய மாலை வணக்கங்கள். மையக்குழுவிலிருந்து நான் சங்கர். இன்றைய நிகழ்ச்சி நலமுடன் நாம் நிகழ்வு 2, அதாவது மருத்துவருடன் நேரடி கலந்துரையாடல். இன்றைய நிகழ்ச்சியில் நம்முடன் என்எம்சி ராயல் ஃபேமிலி சென்டர் முகமது பின் ஜாயத் சிட்டி அபுதாபியில் இருந்து 2 மருத்துவர்கள் பங்கு பெற இருக்கிறார்கள். டாக்டர் ஸ்வான்ஸ் மேஷம் சிறப்பு குழந்தை நல மருத்துவர் மற்றும் திருமதி நிதி மிதுன் ராய் சிறப்பு பல் மருத்துவர். இவர்கள் இருவரையும் நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு அன்போடு வரவேற்கிறோம். என்எம்சி ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ் அவர்களை பற்றிய ஒரு சிறிய குறிப்புகள். அமீரக மண்ணில் மருத்துவத்துறையில் மகத்தான பங்காற்றி வரும் என்எம்சி இன்றைய நிகழ்வின் உபயதாரர், அதாவது எங்களின் ஸ்பான்சர். அமீரக தமிழகம் குழு தொடங்கிய காலம் தொட்டே நம்முடன் பயணித்து வரும் மூத்த உறுப்பினர். அமீரக தமிழகம் முதல் நிகழ்வில் இருந்து இந்த வருட பொங்கல் விழா, அதாவது ஜனவரி 2020 வரை நடந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் பொருளாதார ரீதியில் பெரும் பங்களிப்பு செய்த குடும்பம். என்எம்சி ஹெல்த் கேர் ஐக்கிய அரபு எமிரேட்ஸில் உள்ள மிகப்பெரிய தனியார் சுகாதார நிறுவனமாகும். மேலும் இது உலகின் முன்னணி மருத்துவ சேவை வழங்கும் நிறுவனங்களில் ஒன்றாகும். கடந்த 46 ஆண்டுகளில் நோயாளியின் கவனிப்பு, அக்கறை மற்றும் நோயாளியின் ஒட்டுமொத்த நல்வாழ்வுக்கான நேர்மையான அர்ப்பணிப்பு பொதுமக்களின் பெருவாரியான நம்பிக்கையை என்எம்சி பெற்றுள்ளது. என்எம்சி ஸ்பெஷாலிட்டி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல், என்எம்சி ராயல் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் இன் கலிஃபா சிட்டி, என்எம்சி ராயல் ஃபேமிலி மெடிக்கல் சென்டர் முகமது பின் ஜாயத் சிட்டி, என்எம்சி ராயல் உமன்ஸ் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல், என்எம்சி ப்ரோவிட்டா இன்டர்நேஷனல் மெடிக்கல் சென்டர் அண்ட் என்எம்சி மெடிக்கல் கேர். என்எம்சி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் குறித்த ஒரு சிறு காணொளி இதோ உங்களுக்காக.
அறிமுக உரைக்கும் என்எம்சி ஸ்பான்சர் அவங்களை பத்தியும் நல்லா சொன்னதுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி சங்கர் அவர்களே.
நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
இப்போ அடுத்ததாக நம்மளுடைய மருத்துவர்கள். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியுடைய நோக்கம் நலமுடன் நாம். இந்த பெருந்தொற்று காலத்துல நம்மளுடைய குழந்தைகள் நலன், குழந்தைகள் தான் வீட்டினுடைய மகிழ்ச்சி, செல்வம் எல்லாம். ஸோ குழந்தைகள் நலத்திற்கும் நம்மளுடைய பல் சார்ந்த சுகாதாரம், ஓரல் ஹெல்த், ஸோ இதை பற்றின நம்ம டீட்டெயிலாக நம்ம டாக்டர் கலந்துரையாடலாம். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி டாக்டர் அவங்களுக்கு பற்றி ஒரு சின்ன இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன். உங்க எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், டாக்டர் ஷுவான்ஸ் நம்ம அபுதாபியில் இருக்கிற கிட்ஸோட வெரி ஃபேவரட் டாக்டர். டாக்டர் ஷுவான்ஸ் அவர்களுக்கு தமிழ் தெரியாதனால நான் இப்போ இங்கிலீஷில் கொஞ்சம் பேசலாம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ எவ்ரிபடி நோஸ் தட் டாக்டர் ஷுவான்ஸ் இஸ் வெரி ஃபேவரட் டு த கிட்ஸ். Even my kids, whenever the kids goes to the hospital, normally they cry for injection, but whenever we go for Dr. Shuans, they laugh for lollipops. So, and so this is a short introduction for him. He's a very famous personality in Abu Dhabi. He just few words about his career and past experiences. Dr. Shuans obtained his MBBS degree from Indira Gandhi Medical College, Nagpur, and he completed his post-graduation from Government Medical College, Nagpur in 2008. Dr. Shuans is successfully trained in the management of pediatrics as well as neonatal cases with a proficiency in general pediatrics. And he also worked as a neonatal specialist registrar at NIC Institute, Hyderabad. He has numerous published cases, research articles in national as well as international journals. Dr. Shuans' career experiences includes pediatrics neonatology from 2013 to 2016 at ADK Hospital, Maldives. Currently, Dr. Shuans holds a lifetime membership in National Neonatology Forum India and membership of Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Nagpur chapter. Dr. Shuans' special interest includes respiratory cases, especially asthma, childhood anemia, constipation, nutritional counseling, etc. We welcome Dr. Shuans for this meeting. We thanks for his allocating wonderful, thanks for his valuable time for this meeting, and we are ready to discuss a lot about the kids' pediatric health issues about him. Now I'm moving on to welcoming Dr. Niti Mithun Roy. As you know, she doesn't need any introduction. She's a very famous personality in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Dr. Niti completed her BDS in 2003 from Christian Dental College, Ludhiana. Doctor has more than 16 years of experience in general dentistry. She was working in a multi-specialty hospital in Cochin, Kerala. Doctor has also worked in endodontic department in a dental center in Patna. And doctor's special interests include aesthetic dentistry, root canal treatment, simple and surgical extractions, crowns and bridges, teeth whitening, routine dental procedures, etc. We welcome Dr. Niti for this wonderful session. Welcome, ma'am. Now we are moving on to the discussion, and we have a small presentation from Dr. Shuans. Dr. Shuans, can you proceed?
Yeah, I will share the screen.
Yeah.
You can see the screen?
Yes, doctor, yes. You can make full screen.
Is it visible?
Yes, fully visible. You can go ahead.
It's okay.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, parents, my dear children and audience. I think many of you might be knowing me by my name, and many of you are consulting me also. So maybe children, they know me quite well. So thank you, Dr. Ravi sir and Mr. Siva Vallam, Mr. Sankar and Lochita's father for their cooperation and helping me and inviting me for this presentation. I'm really thankful that I can be helpful for the children and parents to answer their questions and any issues they are facing regarding this difficult situation. So this is a very short presentation. It's a very common scenario during this pandemic, and now this is the winter period and everybody is worried about the already existing COVID and influenza. So I will just have a little talk on this COVID and influenza. So So I'm going to talk regarding the coronavirus and influenza, how they are clinically presented in the children, how they are differentiated, and why the influenza vaccine is so important during this pandemic. And there are lots of myths and misconceptions regarding the vaccine. So let us discuss everything in a small way and a very easy way. So this is the recent data from the CDC, Center for Disease and Childhood, August 24, 2020. It says that hospitalization data from 14 states across the US found that although the cumulative rate of COVID-19 associated hospitalization among children is 0.8 per 100,000 population, is lower as compared with that in adults, which is 164.5 in 100,000. So if you look for the data and statistics, this COVID virus is not very serious in children. Why I am concentrating and enforcing on this data? Because many of the parents, they are worried for their children that my child can get COVID and can get serious. If the mortality rate is concerned, mortality means the death per 1,000 people, it's less than 1% in children. So in UAE also, as far as my knowledge and all my colleagues, we didn't have any single case of like serious issues in children as compared to the adults. So most of the cases which are there in like corona cases, they're adult. So I want to assure the parents that this coronavirus is not that dangerous in children, maybe because of immunity issues, maybe because of some loss of receptors, or maybe some unknown factors. We don't know. Scientists also, research people also don't know. But the good thing is the children, they don't have serious manifestation. But yes, still we need to follow the guidelines as per Department of Health and as per the scientists and the doctors' advice. But yes, the most important thing, the children can be potential source of infection for adults. Like if somebody is having diabetic people in the family or elderly people, and if they kiss or hug or touch the kids, they can transfer the infection and eventually they can get serious. So this is the reason why we need to be little careful regarding the children. So what are the similarities? Everybody knows what is the flu. It's influenza and fever with or without chills. There can be cough, there can be shortness of breath or difficulty breathing. Okay, another important thing, this difficulty breathing can be because of the nose block. So please, parents, don't get worried if you have difficulty breathing, and you will advise the ask the doctors to do the X-ray or something like that. So whenever you feel there is difficulty in breathing, yes, you should consult, but you should not get worried. And there can be fatigue or there can be pain in the throat, runny nose, stuffy nose, muscle pain, headache, and in few kids, this COVID can present as vomiting and diarrhea also. So these are the all vague symptoms. So any patient, anybody can be corona. It doesn't mean that corona just have the respiratory illness. So it depends upon the doctor's evaluation. It's the physical contact with the COVID case, travel history, and so many factors. So what are the differences? It's a really difficult question. Most of the presentation for the influenza and the COVID, they are same, but as per the literature, it is found that this loss of taste and smell is more common with the coronavirus than the influenza. So if somebody is really having this issue, it's like more towards the coronavirus presentation. So the most important thing, why the vaccination is important. As everybody knows, the vaccination trial is going on. Many countries, they are coming with the vaccine, but none of the countries, they have like finalized the vaccination. Even Department of Health and the UAE government has finalized the vaccine for teachers and the healthcare person. But still, we are not sure whether the vaccine will be available for the children. But we have vaccine for the influenza. As both have the similar presentation, at least we can save the kids. We can reduce the burden of the hospitals. We can reduce the visit to the hospital by giving the influenza vaccine. And the most important thing, if the influenza and corona, COVID, if they found together, the mortality or the severity can be more. So if you just want to reduce the severity of your kids, I feel everybody should give the vaccine against the influenza. And there are so many myths about the vaccines. Like many parents, they do tell me that flu vaccine cannot cause the flu illness. One thing we need to remember, this flu vaccine is for the influenza vaccine, influenza virus. It's not for the common cold or flu. So any patient, any child who has received the vaccine can still get running nose or flu symptoms. but it will not get the severe influenza which can affect the lungs or which can affect the other systems. Is it better to get sick with flu than to get flu vaccine? Big no. Why? Because nobody knows whether whether that child will be normally get recovered, or child can get more sick. So it depends upon the child's immunity, other coexisting morbidities, asthma, and so many other factors like father or parents that are smoking. That also can affect the recovery. So it's better to get the vaccine. Do I really need flu vaccine every year? Because many parents, they do think that vaccine can give coverage for the whole life, but no. Over the period of time, the immunity and the antibodies, they reduce. And the most important factor in this influenza virus, it's like a software. It changes the software every year. So you need to give the vaccine, the recent one, because every year we get a new vaccine with a new strain of viruses which are common over the world. Why I get flu despite of flu vaccination? Again, the same thing. Child who is vaccinated against influenza can get infection through other viruses like respiratory syncytial virus. There are so many other viruses, or there are some other bacterial illnesses which can cause flu, running nose, or cough. So influenza will save or will protect the child against the serious illnesses, but not like a common cold or other things. So the take-home message from me: vaccinate your child, please, against the influenza whenever possible, as early as possible. A 2017 study showed that flu vaccination reduced deaths, intensive care unit admission, and length of stay in the hospitalization. Getting vaccinated yourself may also protect people around you. How? If you are vaccinated, you will not get influenza. Obviously, influenza transfers from the droplet infection, coughing, and sneezing. If you are vaccinated, your child also, the surrounding people also can get vaccinated. These are the references: CDC reports, WHO newsletters, and the DOH recommendations. Most important thing: wash your hands and cover the face with your mask. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the
Thank
very
you.
detailed presentation. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, we have some questions from the members who have a lot of questions to ask, and we will continue the question and session during the next minute. Now
Yes,
I request Dr. Niti to present the sensitive tooth topic. I'm sharing the screen.
Hi everybody. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் எல்லாம் தமிழ் தெரியும். அதனால தமிழ்ல பேசுறதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்றேன். என்னோட job history சொன்னபோது just one miss I have worked in Vellore also, தமிழ்நாடுல. ஒரு 3 years அங்கே ஒரு கிளினிக்ல work பண்ணியாரு. So இதனால கொஞ்சம் தமிழ் தெரியும், but it's been a long time. So ஏதாவது தப்பு பேசினா மன்னிச்சிருங்க. So thank you so much once again. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி one time I have come ஒரு தமிழ் fourthல இங்க Bright Riders schoolல once I have given a talk again. It was really nice. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi, for giving this chance once again, and thank you to the whole forum for inviting us. Last time நான் பேசும்போது I was talking about actually kids and cavities in kids. So this time I thought கொஞ்சம் adultsக்காக பேசலாம்னு நினைச்சேன். In the sensitive teeth, because especially இப்போ நம்ம winter season வரும்போது it's a very common issue. நிறைய பேரும் sensitive teeth and the complaints, they come with that. So நம்ம இதுக்கு what is the reason for sensitive teeth and what is sensitivity? அதுதான் நம்ம first தெரியணும். So the next slide please. Sensitive teeth na நம்ம பல்லுக்கு there are 3 layers. First வந்து enamel, dentine, அதுக்கப்புறம் pulp. So enamel வந்து ഏറ്റവും ஹார்டான பொருள், like that is the hardest substance. And அந்த enamel எப்போ தேஞ்சு போதோ, அதாவது that is when the enamel gets worn out, that is when we develop sensitivity of our teeth. So அப்போதான் எந்த sensitivity ஆனா என்ன, when you drink something cold, உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது கூசுன மாதிரி தெரிஞ்சா, that is what sensitivity is. நம்ம ஜில்லன்னு ஏதாவது சாப்பிடும்போது ஒரே வலின்னு சொல்லக்கூடாது, அதுக்கு கூசுனது தான் சொல்லுவேன். வலி டிஃப்ரெண்ட், சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி டிஃப்ரெண்ட். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி கூசுனதுக்கு தான் நம்ம சென்சிட்டிவிட்டின்னு சொல்றேன். Now இந்த இனாமல் எப்போ கொஞ்சம் worn out ஆகி போதோ நம்ம டென்டின் கொஞ்சம் வெளி தெரியும். அப்போ இனாமல் போய் டென்டின் தெரியும் போதுதான் நம்ம பல்லுக்கெல்லாம் கூசின மாதிரி எஃபெக்ட் ஆகுது. ஸோ இது ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி வர, லைக் why do we have sensitivity of teeth? அதுக்கு வந்து நிறைய ரீசன்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரீசன் தான் சொத்த பல்லு. நம்ம பல்லுக்கு சொத்த வரும்போதா என்ன ஆகும், இந்த இனாமல் போய் டென்டின் வரை ஆகும் போதுதான் நமக்கு சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி தெரியும். ஸோ ஹவு டு யூ டிஃபரன்ஷியேட்? நமக்கு இது சொத்த பல்லுனாலே சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி ஆகுதா, ஏதாவது வேற ரீசன்ஸ் இருக்கா, இது எப்படி தெரியும்? சொத்த பல்லு வந்து சென்சிட்டிவ் வரும்போது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நமக்கு கொஞ்சம் ஸ்வீட்ஸ் சாப்பிடும்போது கூசும். ஸ்வீட்ஸ் ஏதாவது சாப்பிடும்போது கூசுனா அது சொத்த பல்லுன்னு அர்த்தம். அது வந்து கொஞ்சம் ஜாஸ்தியா வரும்போது அந்த சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி இட் பிகம்ஸ் டு கோல்ட். நம்ம ஜில்லுன்னு ஏதாவது ஐஸ்கிரீம் ஏதாவது சாப்பிட்டா ஒரே வலி, ஒரே கூசின மாதிரி ஃபீல் ஆயிடுச்சா அதுவும் சொத்த பல்லோட ஒரு சைன். மறுபடி அதுவும் ஜாஸ்தி ஆயிடுச்சா, அதுக்கும் ஜாஸ்தி ஆயிடுச்சா, அந்த கூசினது சூடு ஏதாவது சாப்பிடும்போது உங்களுக்கு கூசுனா அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் அந்த சொத்த பல்லு ரொம்ப அதிகமா இருக்கு, அது நரம்பு வரைக்கும் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு தான் அர்த்தம். ஸோ தட் இஸ் the sensitivity because of சொத்த பல்லு. Now what are the other reasons that you could have sensitivity? இன்னியும் reasons இருக்கு sensitivity வரனதுக்கு. So another reason that you have is நம்ம ரொம்ப ஹார்டா பிரஷ் பண்ணணும்னா நம்ம we have that habit. நிறைய பேருக்கும் அந்த வளர்க்கும் போது ஒரு மிஸ்கான்செப்ட் இஸ் தட் நம்ம ரொம்ப ஹார்டா நல்லபடியா பிரஷ் பண்ணியதான் அது நல்லா கிளீன் ஆகும்னு ஒரு மிஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் இருக்கு. பட் அது ஒரு தப்பான ஒரு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங். ஸோ நம்ம ரொம்ப ஹார்டா இப்படி பண்ணா வாட் ஐ சே இஸ் இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் லைக் கட்டிங் அ ட்ரீ ட்ரங்க். நம்ம ஒரு ட்ரீ இப்படி கட் பண்ணி அது எப்படி இல்லாம ஆக்குமோ அது மாதிரிதான் நம்ம பல்லு கூட அந்த அளவுக்கு வளர்க்கணும்னா அது வந்து அந்த இனாமல் அண்ட் கம்ஸ் அது எங்கே போய் சேருதோ அங்கேதான் இனாமல் தின்னஸ்ட். ஸோ நம்ம அங்க போய் அந்த அளவுக்கு பிரஷ் பண்ணனா அந்த இடத்துல யூ கேன் see that there is a depression on your teeth. The teeth and the gum where it joins, your enamel is worn off and it forms a canal like a thing. அதுக்கு தான் abrasion னு சொல்வேன். So because of that abrasion you will start having sensitivity. So second reason for first is caries, DK சொத்தப்பல்ல. Second reason for sensitivity is because of hard brushing you develop something called abrasion. அது சொத்த கிடையாது, அது அங்கே டிப்ரெஷன் இருக்கு, ஒரு ஹோல் ஒரு கேவிட்டி மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், ஆனா அது சொத்த கிடையாது. நம்ம தான் அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணி அந்த மாதிரி பல்லுக்கு அந்த எஃபெக்ட் இருந்தது. So அது how can you prevent that? அதுக்கு வந்து நம்ம அந்த இடத்துல ஒரு சிமெண்ட் போட்டு அடைச்சு we can prevent that. But the most important thing is we should know how to brush our teeth. நம்ம ரொம்ப ஹார்டா ஒன்றும் பிரஷ் பண்ண வேண்டாம், கொஞ்சம் சாஃப்டா நம்ம அந்த இப்ப இது பல்ல இது ஈராயிருந்தா அந்த ஈருக்கு மேல கொஞ்சம் வச்சுட்டு இப்படி கொஞ்சம் வைப்ரேட் பண்ணி அந்த ஈருக்கும் கொஞ்சம் மசாஜ் பண்ணி கொஞ்சம் வைப்ரேட் பண்ணாதான் நம்ம பல்லு நல்லா கிளீனா அந்த பிரிசில்ஸ் எல்லாம் பல்லுக்கு இடையில எல்லாம் போய் நல்லா கிளீன் பண்ணி வச்சிருவாங்க. So that is how you should brush your teeth. And how do you understand whether it is a cavity or an abrasion? The difference is இந்த மாதிரி abrasion வரும்போது உங்களுக்கு ஜில்லுன்னு சாப்பிடும்போதுதான் கூசும், ஸ்வீட்ஸ்ல கூசுனது கிடையாது. அந்த ஜில்லுன்னு ஏதாவது சாப்பிடும்போது கூசுனா அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் உங்களுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி abrasions இருக்கு. Third reason is, so we said caries, we said abrasion. Now third reason is you can have bone loss, bleeding, gum disease வரும்போது அந்த ஈரு மேல ஏதாவது இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் வந்தா கூட உங்களுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி கூசுனதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ ஈரு இன்ஃப்ளேம்ட் ஆகும், என்ன ஆகும், உங்க எலும்பு தெரியனது ஆரம்பிக்கும். ஸோ வாட் வில் ஹேப்பன் இஸ் நம்ம ஈரு கொஞ்சம் மேலே ஏறி அதுக்கு ஜிஞ்சாய்வல் ரிசெஷன் சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த ஜிஞ்சாய்வா கொஞ்சம் மேலே ஏறி அந்த பல்லு நம்ம எலும்பு பாக்குறது மாதிரி அல்லங்க எலும்போட லெவலே கம்மியாயிடும். ஸோ வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ், நம்ம இனாமெல்லும் எல்லாம் கழிஞ்சு நம்ம பல்லுட வேறு தெரியும். அந்த வேறு தெரியின அளவுக்கு நம்ம கம்மல் ஏதாவது இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் வந்துடுச்சா கூட இந்த மாதிரி யூ கேன் ஹாவ் சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி. அப்போ கூட சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி டு கோல்ட், நம்ம ஏதாவது ஜில்னு சாப்பிடும் போது சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி ஆயிருந்தா அதுவும் அர்த்தம் இருக்கு. ஸோ அகெயின் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் போன் ரிசெஷன் யூ கேன் ஹாவ் கம் ரிசெஷன், போன் ரிசார்ப்ஷன், அதனால கூட உங்களுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி கூசுனதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. பட் நல்ல ஜில்லுன்னு இட் இஸ் மெயின்லி டு கோல்ட். Another reason is erosion. ஏன் erosion எப்படி வருவேன், நம்ம ரொம்ப அசிடிக்கா ஏதாவது சாப்பிட்டாதான் இரோஷன் வருவே. லைக் யூ ஹாவ் லைக் இப்ப நம்ம குழந்தைகளுக்கு எஸ்பெஷலி ஹியர் ஐ ஹவ் சீன் நிறைய குழந்தைகள் எஸ்பெஷலி த லோக்கல் கிரவுட் ஐ மஸ்ட் சே, குழந்தைன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, ஒரு ஒரு மேபி லேட் அடல்ட் லைக் லேட் சைல்ட்ஹுட் லைக் ஒரு 17-18 இயர்ஸ் எல்லாம் நிறைய குழந்தைகளுக்கு if you see they have these white patches on their teeth and நிறைய ஒரு ரஃப் சர்ஃபேஸ், நிறைய கிரைட்டர்ஸ் மாதிரி எல்லாம் இருக்கும். இட் இஸ் வெரி ரஃப். அப்ப அந்த மாதிரி பல்லுக்கும் கூசுனது ரொம்ப காமன். பட் ஏன் அது நம்ம ரொம்ப அசிடிக் ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் குடிக்கிறதுனால, இந்த சென்ஸ் இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் டூ மச் ஆஃப் ஆல் தீஸ் ஏரியேட்டட் ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது குடிக்கும் போது நம்ம பல்லுக்கு அது அந்த ஆசிட் ரியாக்ஷனால நம்ம பல்லு கொஞ்சம் டிசால்வ் ஆகி அது அந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம் வரும்போது கூட யூ கேன் ஹேவ் சென்சிட்டிவிட்டி. அண்ட் தட் ஆல்சோ யூ ஷுட் ஆக்சுவலி அது ஸ்மூத்தன் பண்ணி அதுக்கு மேலே ஒரு ஃபில்லிங் போட்டாதான் யூ கேன் சால்வ் தட் இஷ்யூ. அண்ட் another thing இது not only in people who drink aerated drinks, we can see acid gurgitations, நம்ம GERD, like நிறைய பேருக்கு acidity இருக்குன்னு இருக்கு, like those who have this gastric reflex and அந்த மாதிரி acidity problem இருந்தா கூட you can have these problems in your teeth, like teeth konjam eroda ஆரம்பிக்கும். So அந்த இடத்துல கூட you can find that people have sensitivity to teeth. So one wrong practice that I have seen is I don't really blame anybody for that. Maybe other or just common man namalku if any sensitivity happens, you just think that okay நம்ம ஏதாவது desensitizing paste use பண்ணா அந்த sensitivity சரியாய் போயிடும் தான் நிறைய பேர் நினைக்கிறேன். ஆனா ஐ வுட் சஜஸ்ட் அது desensitizing paste நம்ம இப்போ நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொன்ன சொத்த பல்லு அதுக்கு ஒழிச்சு பாக்கி எல்லாத்துக்கும் அந்த desensitizing paste is very good. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கம் டிசீஸ்னு நல்லா இருக்கும், அவங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அப்ரேஷன் இருந்தா அதுதான் பெஸ்ட் ஆப்ஷன். But before you see a dentist, you should not start using a desensitizing paste. That is, we have to know why you have the sensitivity. And the sensitivity ஏன் வரே அதுதான் நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். அது ரீசன் கண்டுபிடிச்சு அதுக்கு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் பண்ணியதான் கரெக்டா இருக்கும். லைக் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கம் டிசீஸ் இருந்தா you should clean your gums. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் you should start using a desensitizing paste. So you should never just start using it, because what happens is when you start using a desensitizing paste, அது நம்ம பல்லுட மேல ஒரு லேயர் போட்டுடும், அல்லனா நம்ம nerves നെ கொஞ்சம் mummify செய்யும். That is they kind of sedate our nerves. அப்போ நம்ம சொத்த பல்லு இருந்தா கூட தெரியாம இருக்கும். அப்போ நம்ம அது ரொம்ப பெருசாய் நரம்பு வரைக்கும் ஆகும்போதுதான் நிறைய பேரும் அந்த சொத்த பல்லு அங்க இருக்கேன்னு கூட தெரியும். பிகாஸ் ரெண்டு பல்லுக்கு உள்ளேன்னு சொத்தை ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டா, உள்ளே இந்த மாதிரி ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டா அது உடையும் போதுதான் இவ்வளவு பெரிய சொத்தை உள்ள இருந்தா தெரியும். So that becomes like ஒரு நரம்பு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட், ரூட் கனால் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் வரைக்கும் ஆவண வரைக்கும் நம்ம வெயிட் பண்ணிடும். So never do that. So if at all you ever develop sensitivity, it is an alarm. The sensitivity நம்ம பல்லுக்கு ஊசுனா it's an alarm sign. Just go meet a dentist and then you should find out why the sensitivity is caused. If it is because of bone loss, if it is because of abrasion, if it is because of mild erosions, desensitizing paste is good. But if it is because of a cavity, நம்ம அது அடைச்சாதான் ஆகும். அந்த பல்லு சொத்தையா இருந்தா அதை கண்டிப்பா அடைக்கணும், வேற வழியே கிடையாது. So that is one thing that we should know. And second thing is about the brushing, which I have already told you. நம்ம எப்படி brush பண்ணணும், ரொம்ப ஹார்டா brush பண்ணக்கூடாது, லைட்டா brush பண்ணணும். And acidity எல்லாம் இருக்கணும், you should just make sure that always just எடுக்க like in between meals எல்லாம் ஏதாவது சாப்பிடணும். But எப்போ சாப்பிட்டா கூட you should always make sure that you should rinse your mouth. இப்போ நிறைய பேரும் stains கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணுவாரு. they come and say that நான் சிகரெட் ஸ்மோக் பண்ணதே இல்லை, ஆனா நிறைய ஸ்டெயின்ஸ் இருக்கு, நிறைய பேர் கேட்கிறேன் ஸ்மோக் பண்ணுவான்னு கேட்கிறேன், ஆனா நான் ஸ்மோக்கே பண்ணது இல்லை. பட் வாட் யூ ட்ரிங்க் கடக் டீ, you drink very like strong tea இல்லனா காஃபி. அப்போ என்ன பண்ணணும், நம்ம ஒரு டைமும் இந்த டீ காஃபி குடிச்சதுக்கு how much do we actually wash our mouth? We don't wash our mouth after tea and coffee. But அந்த டீ காஃபியோட ஸ்டெயின்ஸ் ரொம்ப stubborn, அது எல்லா பல்லு மேலேயும் இருக்கும். So you should always rinse your mouth at least 3 times after brushing, having tea or coffee. எப்பவுமே brush பண்ணனது நடக்க முடியாது, it's impossible. So you cannot brush all the time, but you should rinse your mouth at least 3 times after you drink a tea or coffee. Okay, so that is it about sensitivity. Open to questions.
Okay, doctor, thank you. We have some questions from our audience, from our members, and Before that, our main group member, Mr. Sendil, have someone doubt question from you. So, Sendil, you can proceed.
சிவா ஒரு செகண்ட்.
Yeah.
டாக்டர் நித்தி சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க தமிழ் தெரியாது, கொஞ்சமா தான் பேசுவேன், ஏதாவது தப்பு இருந்தா சொல்லுங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. இடையில எங்க தப்பு வந்ததுன்னு தெரியல. சின்ன சின்ன மிஸ்டேக், சின்ன சின்ன அந்த வேர்ட்ஸ் தான் வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்டா தெரிஞ்சது. மற்றபடி அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா தான் பேசிட்டே இருந்தாங்க தமிழ்ல.
தேங்க்யூ சார். அது வந்து மலையாளம் தமிழ் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம் தான்.
இல்ல தமிழ் கொஞ்சம் தெரியும் சொல்லும் போது மட்டும்தான் நீங்க வந்து கொஞ்சம் தருமாறுறீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து அது கண்டினியூவா வந்துகிட்டே தான் இருக்குது. எனவே தேங்க்ஸ் மேடம்.
I also enjoyed, madam.
Sir?
I also enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sendil, you can continue.
Yeah, hi. I'm Sendil. Doctor, actually, yeah, everyone like says that COVID is like a kind of different things, but still, what I felt from my kids' side, in the past 8 months, we haven't seen any fever or like a cough or cold, anything to the kids. It's not only for my kids, even I have seen a couple of my friends' kids also. So what would be the difference, like when they are going to school or park, they get easily infected, but now they are at home, but still, do you think their stamina got increased, or like how you see this perspective? Because I don't see this 8 months. I have never visited your hospital, so hopefully you are aware of it. So that's what you think about it. How about their stamina or like powerful in these 8 months after this COVID affected only? We have like, I have completely realized how now kids like not getting infected. Is it like any particular reason you feel, or which one you feel about this stamina and all?
So you must be happy for your kids now then. Is it like that?
That's very true.
Yeah. So let me tell you, let me answer this in a two way. Okay. Would you like to have the cold and cough or this chicken pox or other respiratory illness during the childhood, which are mild? And if you get the same illnesses during your adulthood, which can be severe, which one you will prefer?
I would prefer in the childhood itself, whatever it comes, at least they'll have their own stamina. Yes. So we also can manage.
I will answer your question by giving one example. Let me tell you the chicken pox. Okay. Many people, they feel that the vaccine is, it's against immunity. But all the vaccines, actually, we inject directly viruses or bacteria. Okay. But the toxic component is not there. So ideally, you are getting chicken pox without having the chicken pox. You got my point? So, but if you get chicken pox during the childhood, it's okay. You can have rash, you can have fever. Those 5 to 7 days will be okay. But the same chicken pox, if you get during the adulthood, then my adult physician friend, they know it can lead to the brain infection. That is varicella meningitis, chicken pox meningitis. It can lead to the chicken pox pneumonia or something like that, which are not very common in children. In children, only things will be, they will have rashes, they will have fever. Only thing is like that. The same with the respiratory illnesses. So you are happy that child is not getting cold, cough or fever. But what we do, we just give the symptomatic treatment, and sometimes we might need antibiotics. But those parents who have the older kids, like more than 5 or 7 year kids, they must be knowing the kids less than 1 year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, the number of illnesses, number of hospital visits, they come down gradually. After 5 to 7 years, they come down. Why? Because they're already exposed. Now the another important part. Now what cases I am seeing? I am seeing the cases in 3 to 4 months, the child has gained weight of around 10 to 14 kilo. Yesterday I saw one case, one child 8-year-old, 50 kilo. And according to the graphs, he was crossing that black line. Means not like in the graph also, it was above the obesity level. Another issue, constipation. They are not moving. So I am seeing lot of constipation cases with lots of anal fissures, anal abrasions. And the mother was telling that the child doesn't even, like he can't walk even 100 meters or 200 meters. So if we keep the kids at home, yes, we will not be having cold, flu or cough like that. But we are making them more, more vulnerable for more serious illnesses. See, if you remember, we all are Indians. If you remember your old parents, quotes, they ask you, go outside, get cold, let the nose run out, eat whatever, they don't even ask you to wash hands because they feel your immunity will increase. I'm not saying you don't wash your hand, but what I mean to say, let the kids have their natural life. If the child is just inside the home, maybe many of the kids, they don't experience any psychological or behavioral issue. But if you ask me, there are so many issues. They have become clingy. They are having behavioral issues. They got so much scared that now they are feeling scared to go outside, and they lost so many issues. And the most important, everybody got glasses. Everybody got glasses, and their number is mostly above 0.5 to 1 to 2.5, like that. So just for this simple, cold and cough, we are making our child more vulnerable for serious illnesses like diabetes, their, asthma aggravates because their stamina is coming down. They are not getting sunlight, and they are not exposed to the virus. And then eventually they will get more serious illness. If you have noticed my presentation, what did I say? Even if they get COVID, it will be mild. Maybe they might get antibodies, but if adults they do get, it will be a problem, like that. So let the kids get exposed to the viruses, bacteria. They will get more immune and more better for the future and the adulthood. So maybe this is the shortcut is good, but the long-term outcome not very good, like that. So the mask should be, it will be but perfect fit for the child. Like we have the bigger mask, we have the smaller mask, or something like that. So the most important thing is the size should be perfect for the child. And the second most important thing, nowadays there are so many fancy masks, they are available for the adults as well as children. So these all cloth masks, they are just for saving, avoiding the fines and other things, but they will not protect that much. So the most important thing is the surgical mask is the best thing for the children actually. But yes, there are many people, like many kids, they have asthma or they have the allergy. So what they can do, they can have the that silk mask or any cloth mask inside, and the outside they can have the surgical mask perfectly fitable for that particular size. But surgical masks, they are the best one for the routine and normal people actually.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. Dr. Nidhi ma'am, I have one question from a member. His name is Mr. Sendil Kandan. He just want to discuss regarding the class 3 orthodontics for his 8-year-old son. We just need some comments from you about the class 3 orthodontics.
Yeah. Class 3 means, when your mandible is protruding, like, that protruding look, that is what is called class 3 orthodontic. Class 3 occlusion. So in such cases, again, it's one thing is, first of all, I'm not a specialist in that, but I can give you as a primary dentist, like, or a first GP dentist opinion. So first thing is you have to take the child to a periodontist, that is a child specialist, and we have one Dr. Preet in our hospital who's very good, and he's doing something more than simple orthodontics. What we have to do is, but on the 8 years, you have asked this question at the right time, because other one the developing time, and the like aging time, other bone and shape or age other. So what we do is we have to stop the progress of the mandible. We put something called a chin cap. Chin cap apply pote, you kind of delay the, you will slow the progress of the mandible, and you help the maxilla to come forward. So you have to intervene, like in the sense you have to start the treatment. Some people might think that ella paal pallum poyadukku appuram permanent teeth ellam vannadukku appuram da ortho panna mudiyum. That is not right anymore. You can start it, the earlier the better, because in the madri situations la nama ipove poi adu correct pannadha seriyagum. After a certain age, you cannot see nama kambi podumbodhu, you are only correcting the situation, the correction, the positioning of your teeth. Ana class 3 is a skeletal problem. It is because of the bone that is protruded. So with the kambi pota adu correct panna mudiyadu. So you should put something called a chin cap. If you don't do it now, later on you will have to do a small surgery and then pull the mandible back. So no other opinion but visit a dentist at the earliest. Periodontist now. At an age of 8, you should meet a periodontist.
Okay, doctor. Thank you so much for the valuable.
Shiva, ஒரு செகண்ட். டாக்டர் நிதி, அந்த கிளாஸ் 3ன்ற ப்ராப்ளம் வந்து விஷுவலா நம்ம வந்து எப்படி வந்து ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண முடியும்?
Excuse me sir, I didn't get that.
அந்த கிளாஸ் 3 ப்ராப்ளம் சொல்லி இப்போ ஒரு क्वेश्चन ஒருத்தங்க கேட்டாங்க இல்லீங்களா? ஸோ அதை வந்து நம்ம வந்து எப்படி வந்து டாக்டர்கிட்ட போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு சைல்டுகிட்ட இருந்தோ விஷுவலா நம்ம பார்த்து எப்படி நம்ம வந்து தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும் அவங்களோட ஃபேஸோட பத்தியா?
கரெக்ட், தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ சேட். லைக் கிளாஸ் 3 ஆனா நம்ம இப்படி இருக்கும், கீழ் பல்லு வந்து மேல் பல்லுக்கு முன்னாடி. நம்ம இப்போ நார்மல் ஒக்ளூஷன் நார்மல் பைட் வரணும், எப்பவுமே நம்ம மேல் பல்லு கீழ் பல்லோட முன்னாடி தான் வருவேன். ஆனா இந்த கிளாஸ் 2 ஆனா எப்படி, அது கிளாஸ் 1, that is a normal one where your upper teeth will come just in front, just 2 mm in front of your lower teeth. கிளாஸ் 2 னு சொன்னா எப்படி, lower teeth க்கு ரொம்ப முன்னாடி வருவேன் upper teeth, அதுதான் கிளாஸ் 2. இப்படி ஒரு மாதிரி பேர்ட் ஃபேஸ் வரும், you know, it will look very convex. But in class 3 in the lower teeth, I mean the lower teeth will come in front, இப்படி வரும். The mandible will come in front. That is called a class 3 malocclusion. It is very obvious, நமக்கு பார்த்தாலே தெரியும் இது வந்து you know class 3 occlusion. And edge to edge, பல்லுக்கு மேலே பல்லு, this has to be taken care very very quickly because other you know now it is, you might think it is just aesthetics, நம்ம just பார்க்கிறதுக்கு நல்லா இருக்கிறது மட்டும் இல்ல, அது வந்து later on in life நம்ம functionsல கூட அது affect பண்ணும், it will affect your TMJ, you know. So it is definitely very important that you have to get it corrected at the very early age.
Yeah, thanks for explanation. Now இப்போ வந்து நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து அந்த இது டிஃபரன்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும், நீங்க சொன்ன அந்த கிளாஸ் 1 கிளாஸ் 2 கிளாஸ் 3 அதோட பொசிஷன் ஜாவோட ஃப்ரண்ட் அண்ட் பேக். ஸோ இப்போ வந்து நிறைய பேருக்கு கிளியரா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும், அதனால தான் அந்த ஒரு கொஸ்டினை நான் கேட்டது. தேங்க்யூ.
தேங்க்யூ டாக்டர். அப்படி இன்னொரு ஒரு மெம்பர் கேட்டிருக்காங்க, மிஸ்டர் விஷ்ணு. His question is how to take precautions for horizontal teeth, that too after 30 years, last teeth at jaws.
எனக்கு feeling அது வந்து ஞான பல்லுட விஷயம் தான்.
Yeah, I think so. It's wisdom. He's asking about something about wisdom teeth.
Yeah, so probably he has a wisdom tooth which is horizontal.
Horizontal, yes.
That's what I understand from the question. இப்போ நிறைய பேருக்கும் in our generation நிறைய பேருக்கும் அந்த wisdom tooth உள்ளே இருக்கு, it's stuck inside our mouth, the wisdom teeth, you know. That's basically because as the generations are passing on, we can see that our food habits are really changing. நம்ம ancestors, நம்ம parents, the generation before us, they all had a bigger face, jaws were bigger in size. அப்ப அவர்க்கெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த 32 பல்ல இருக்குனதுக்கு இடம் இருந்தது. ஆனா இப்போ நம்ம எல்லாம் canned food, processed food எல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டு you know our jaws are all smaller. நமக்கு அந்த wisdom teeth-க்கு இடம் கிடையாது. That is why it is getting stuck. So if it is horizontally impacted, as long as it is not troubling you, we can say that don't do anything about it, like you can just leave it. But trouble எப்போ ஆரம்பிக்கும், அதுக்கு மேலே உள்ள ஈர ஏதாவது inflamed ஆயிடுச்சா அது வந்து நல்லா வலிக்கும். And how you can prevent it is, see, sometimes you just can't prevent it, you have to accept the fact and remove the tooth. But நிறைய times if you just you know like if it is something that can be solved, what I would suggest is, one thing is சூடு தண்ணியில் உப்பு போட்டு இடைக்கிடைக்கு கொப்பளிக்கணும், கொப்பளிக்கணும். அப்ப ஏதாவது சின்ன சின்ன இன்ஃப்ளமேஷன்ஸ் இருந்தா அதிலே சரியாய் போயிடும். செகண்ட் திங் இஸ், நம்ம பிரஷ் பண்ணும்போது அந்த இடத்துல கொஞ்சம் ஹொரிசாண்டலா பிரஷ் வச்சுட்டு இப்படி கொஞ்சம் பிரஷ் பண்ணணும். ஸோ அகெயின் தி பிரிசில்ஸ் வில் கோ டவுன். அந்த ஹொரிசாண்டலி இருக்கிற பல்லும் அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கிற பல்லுக்கும் இடையே போய் கொஞ்சம் கிளீன் பண்ணும். ஏன் வலிக்குதுன்னா, அந்த இடத்துல போய் ஃபுட் மாற்றுறதுனாலதான் அந்த இடத்துல இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் வரணும், இன்ஃப்ளமேஷன் வரணும், எல்லாம் ஃபுட் மாற்றுறதுனால. ஸோ இஃப் யூ கேன் ஜஸ்ட் brush well in that area and konjam koplicha oru alavu varaikkum, you can you know prevent or save by time. I would say, like you can only buy time. And the horizontal impacted pallu vandu munnadi irukna pallune resolve panni edavadhu sotta madri adukulla aarambicha, no choice, you have to remove the tooth. So I hope I got it. I don't know if this is what
illa
got it.
Remove the teeth அப்படிங்க. ஸோ ஆப்ரேஷனுக்கு அப்புறம் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு வந்து how long அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ரெஸ்ட் எடுக்கணும், இல்ல அவங்க வேற ஏதாவது ப்ரிகாஷனரி ஆர் சேஃப்டி அந்த மாதிரி இது பண்ண வேண்டியது இருக்குமா?
Yeah, actually wisdom teeth இந்த மாதிரி impacted, we call it impacted, வெளியில வராம உள்ள தங்கி இருக்கிற மாதிரி, எலும்புக்கு உள்ள தங்கி இருக்கிற மாதிரி பல்ல ரிமூவ் பண்றது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம். இட்ஸ் நாட் வெரி ஈஸி. சின்ன ஒரு சர்ஜரி மாதிரி தான் அதுவும். பட் ஒரு 2 to 3 days நல்லா ரெஸ்ட் வேணும். Like you know, it will be like sometimes there will be swelling, sometimes there will be difficulty in mouth opening. So 2 to 3 days கண்டிப்பா ரெஸ்ட் வேணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 1 week எடுக்கும். அது நல்லா பொறுக்குனதுக்கு ஒரு 1 week கண்டிப்பா எடுக்கும், especially the lower teeth. Okay, I'm not talking about all teeth extraction. this is usually with the lower wisdom teeth. Ana upper wisdom teeth is very, very easy to remove. நிறைய பேருக்கும் another problem that happens is இந்த மாதிரி கீழ்ப்பல்லு இல்லாம இருக்கும்போது upper last tooth, which is something I'm seeing very often. upper last tooth வந்து கீழே இறங்கி வரும். கீழே இறங்கி வந்து அதுவும் ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைரக்ஷன் தான் வருவேன். நம்ம இந்த சீக்ஸ்க்கு அந்த பக்கம் தான் வருவேன். ஸோ நம்ம கடிக்கும் போது அது வந்து சீக்ஸ்ல போய் மாட்டுவேன். ஸோ நிறைய டைம்ஸ் அந்த இடத்துல அல்சர் மாதிரி வரும். And you know how to recognize this pain is most of the times when you have a wisdom tooth problem, உங்க வலி காதுக்குள்ள போய் இல்லைன்னா இங்க தலையோட பின்னாடி அந்த கழுத்து இந்த பக்கம் எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ரேடியேட் பண்ண மாதிரி வலி. அண்ட் யூ வில் நாட் பி ஏபிள் டு சே எங்கேன்னு வலி வரேன்னு. இந்த பக்கம் வலிக்குதுன்னு தான் சொல்லுவேன், செவிக்கு பின்னாடி வலிக்குவேன். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது வலி வந்துடுச்சா just know that அது ஏதாவது wisdom problem தான். So that is one alarm sign that you can find. And மத்த ஏது பல்லு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு அவ்வளவு ப்ராப்ளம் கிடையாது. even especially upper wisdom tooth is something that is very easy to நிறைய பேர் இந்த பயத்தினால வர மாட்டேன் பல்லு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு. most of the times people keep it till the last minute. அது ரொம்ப வலி வரும்போதுதான் வரும். but don't do that. இந்த மாதிரி wisdom tooth எல்லாம் முதல்ல எடுத்தாதான் problem solved.
Ma'am, I have same doubt in that because I have the same problem and almost they told me 8 years before to operate and take it out because the flush has covered that wisdom tooth. அவங்க பார்த்தப்ப ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டு மேபி இட் வில் பி a small surgery only, so we will just cut and remove it அப்படின்னாங்க. But same thing, I had a bit of fear, so I didn't do it. What I feel is very rare time I get like the same thing, like the headache or something. But normally I take this paracetamol and then it goes away on the same day. So is it like fine or like it's better to remove? What would be your suggestion on that?
No, see, the thing is again, because you said no, your gums are completely covering it. There are sometimes wisdom teeth which is totally inside, which is not causing any problem. So you don't have to remove it if it is not causing any problem. But if you have to take an X-ray just to know whether that tooth is affecting the tooth in front. அந்த பல்லு இப்படி இருந்து அது கிட்ட இருக்குன்னா பல்லுக்குள் like if it is pushing the next tooth, if it is causing any resorption or root caries in the next tooth, then only you have to remove it. Otherwise, if it's not causing any problem, you don't have to remove it. Not at all.
Okay. Then fine, because it was like almost 8 years I am doing with that. I don't know.
If for 8 years you've been managing with it, and like next time when you have the pain, don't take a paracetamol. First put some salt in warm water, rinse your mouth, just rinse and brush the way I told you. Then only, like if after that also if you feel pain, then take the medicine. Otherwise, try this way.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sindhil.
Doctor,
hope you get the free consultation.
Very true. I have one more question also. Later I will ask.
Yes, I have one question to Dr. Shwans from the member. Can the coronavirus transmitted through feces? This is the question.
Yeah, this is again one of the important questions many people they do ask. Actually, there is only one study which has showed that this coronavirus can transmit through the fecal matter, but still some researches should go on. So anyway, that thing is like that. In coronavirus, we have to do hand washing and hand hygiene. So we should consider it as one of the way of transmission. So better to consider it like better to wash your hands whenever you go for the washroom or the toilet like that. So it does transmit.
Okay, doctor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, there is one live question from a viewer, Ms. Manon Mani. The question to Dr. Niti: what is the natural foods to keep healthy tooth? Which food we should avoid?
Okay, natural food. We say fibrous food. Fibrous food is definitely good for our teeth. Like all the fibrous food, even green leafy vegetables and fruits. Instead of we try to take smoothies and all that, but instead we should actually have this fruits in its full form. So try to eat such food. And the food that you should avoid is basically the sticky food. Sticky food, yani, like, I mean, again, I wouldn't say you should avoid any food, like, but as a dentist, you expect us to tell kids don't eat chocolates, but I will never tell a kid not to eat chocolates, because I'm sure they will never come back to me again. So I will always say, do eat chocolates, there is nothing wrong in that, but we have to brush our teeth, after eating any type of, just make a habit of brushing your teeth before you go to bed, without fail. And even if you eat some sticky food, you should just, only then, like, you should just brush your teeth. Otherwise, personally, I wouldn't say you should avoid this or avoid that, but do involve a lot of fibrous food in our diet. By eating fibrous food, they are self-cleansing. They will itself, try to clean your teeth. And another thing I would suggest is never try to eat on one side. Like some people, because of one cavity or some issues, they will try to eat on just one side. So, when we eat, there is a gush of saliva also that comes in. And while we eat, there is a cleansing of our teeth also happening. So if you actually notice, if you have the habit of eating only on one side, நம்மள பார்த்தா ஜீர் என்னன்னு தெரியல, நம்ம பல்லுக்குள்ள வந்து ஜீர் மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல, அந்த கக்க மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஜீர் ஐ திங்க் இஸ் an Arabic word. So கக்க மாதிரி நிறைய white yellow ஒரு collection மாதிரி இருக்கும். So if you have the habit of eating only on one side, you can notice that the side that you don't eat with will be massive collection of that calculus, is what we call it, and the kakka madri iruknada and the deposits nariya irukum, which is a proof that if you just eat on one side and the cleansing nadakkanadilla, and the second side will definitely be more of this calculus. So nothing like you should avoid or anything. Of course, if you have weak teeth, hard food you should avoid. Like ipo nare perku elimbu kadikina like oru palakam irukku, adonnum pannakudadu, so that can result in cracked teeth and all that. So don't do that, but otherwise eat all that you have.
Even I would also recommend the same thing. Even for the children also, many parents, they do expect that their children should eat the healthy food and avoid chocolates and other things. But in practical, it is not possible. So what I do recommend, let them eat chocolates, let them eat whatever they like. But yes, after that, either let them ask to do the brushing, or you go and take them and do the forceful brushing. That is the best thing, because they can eat chocolate during the childhood. Once they are grown up, they are worried about the diabetes and the obesity and so many things. So, and you can't force someone for eating a healthy food like that. If they like, it's okay. If they don't like, you can't do anything. This is not practical, to be frank.
I think we are talking also as parents.
Yeah,
not
that's
just
what I'm
doctors.
telling. Yes.
Thank God, actually, my daughter did not see this one way or other way, because normally, even if we say doctor is telling not to eat, still they eat lot of chocolate. And if you suggest in the open way saying you can allow to eat the chocolates, then they will not even listen to us. Doctor told on that day. This is how she will repeat continuously.
No, but after that, they have to do brushing also. That also they have to remember.
I mean,
That they won't listen. That is the problem.
See, the correction is, we mean that they can eat chocolates, doesn't mean that they should eat a lot of them.
Yeah, obviously.
Limit to everything. இப்போ வந்து இடக்கிடைக்கு வந்து சாப்பிடுறதுக்கு ஒன்றும் தப்பு இல்லை, பட் doesn't mean continuous they should just keep nibbling it. No, that is not right. இப்போ நிறைய பேரும் அதுதான் பண்ணுவேன், the whole day, like being at home, they'll be home the whole day, they continue to eat something sweet, so they're not brushing in between. So that is definitely going to cause problems. So it doesn't give them the license to have too many. It just means that they can have, there is nothing wrong in having, but just sufficient.
It should be like celebration once or twice in a week, like that.
The common problem நார்மலா எல்லாருக்கும் இருக்குது இந்த பேட் பிரீத்திங் ஸ்மெல், அப்புறம் வந்து ஒயிட் கேவிட்டிஸ், ஒயிட் ஃபார்மேஷன் ஆகும் இந்த பல்லுல. ஸோ அதை வந்து எப்படி நம்ம வந்து ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணா, அட்லீஸ்ட் வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் வந்து எப்படி வந்து அதை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணல, அதை எப்படி அதை வந்து மெயின்டைன் பண்ணலாம். இட்ஸ் காமன் ஃபார் சில்ட்ரன்ஸ், காமன் ஃபார் அடல்ட்ஸ்.
Yeah. Bad breath, again, what we have to find out is what is the reason for the bad breath. Bad breath just because of pallu kedaiyadu. It can be other reasons also, but usually when namakku gummal edavadhu infection irundal andha madri vaada varum, pallukku vaayil oru bad smell varum. And kolandigalukku I have noticed those who open their mouth, like those who have that nose block or mouth breathing, andha madri kolandigalukku because of the dryness of their mouth, they have a kind of bad breath. Okay. And then cavities irundha varum, because cavities irundha and the cavities kulla poi food maati and the food like a foul smell ay marum. So cavities irundha
Something
bad
different.
smell.
Yeah, something different on the smell on the
Yeah.
kids.
So see, again, I would say, what are the reasons for bad smell? So one is this oral mouth breathing that can cause a bad smell. It can be in adults and in kids. If we have the habit of opening our mouth and sleeping, because of the dryness of the mouth, you can have a bad smell. Second is because of cavities வந்து அதுக்குள்ள போய் food மாட்டி அது வந்து foul, like அது கொஞ்சம் decay ஆகும்போதும் it starts smelling bad, so you have a foul smell. And third is because of gum disease வரும்போதா நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரி கக்க மாதிரி அந்த white calculus மாதிரி it forms in our mouth. That is a sign of gum disease. So and the madri varum varam. The fourth reason is actually gastric problems. Also have acidity. They have a totally different type of a smell. Pungent smell irukku while it's very different from all the other kind of smells. Okay. And people who have diabetes, they also have this kind of bad smell. And people who don't eat for long hours, like suppose you keep yourselves empty stomach for a long time, we can actually notice that we can develop that sort of a bad smell. So how to prevent is, one thing is, cavities are you have to fill them. Mouth breathing you have to correct that. Gum disease, let's talk about gum disease. That is where we can, as a dentist, correct it. Is one, cleaning. You have to clean the gums, get the calculus out. Now how to prevent this calculus from forming again is what is most important. appo adukku vandu namma nan sonna madri nerthe sonna madri brushing is the most important thing. காலையிலும் நைட்லும் கண்டிப்பா brush பண்ணணும். brush பண்ணும்போது எப்படி பண்ணணும்னா, கொஞ்சம் இந்த மாதிரி பல்லு மேல இது பல்லா இருந்தா பல்லு மேல ஈர் மேல கொஞ்சம் வச்சுட்டு அப்படியே பல்லு மேல இப்படி வைப்ரேட் பண்ணி. See, one example I tell my patients is, suppose I ask you to paint my fingers and you just paint like this, you will only paint on the convex surfaces, the most convex or the prominent surfaces. But if you paint two fingers at a time like this, it will go in between the fingers also. So same way, if you brush just like this, it will only clean the convex surfaces, the most prominent surfaces. It is not going to clean in between the teeth. And calculus nariya varnadu angeda nama pallukulla like the space between two teeth angeda indha madri calculus varuve. So one is vibrate and brush, especially these 6 teeth. ingeda maximum andha madri calculus form agudhu. So you should brush it with mild vibrations. Ulla பண்ணும்போதும் like really go and nicely brush those inner surfaces. And another habit that you can develop is called the flossing. Flossing is a very good thing that can help prevent this kind of calculus. Or at least, actually once a day is very good, but at least twice a week you can just put the floss in between the teeth, adapt it to the tooth, and then just pull it out. Appo and the soft and the deposits alla adile veliyila varum. So and the madri nama oru habit ah pannita and the soft deposits orikkalum calcify agama, you can actually stop it to a certain extent. But of course ஒரு லிமிட் இருக்கு அதுக்கெல்லாம், பட் ஒரு to a very good extent you can prevent this formation of plaque and bad breath and all that.
Any particular paste you can recommend, doctor, for this?
Yeah, this is one of the questions from our viewers. Any special paste, brush?
Because I feel that that herbal paste, they are better than this Vicco and Colgate. I feel so. I don't know exactly.
See, again, herbal pastes are good, but sometimes what happens, the herbal paste, they have a more of long in that club, long club. That so what happens is this club has a sedative effect. So it does the same thing like all these desensitizing paste. So if you, I would suggest we should keep switching the paste. Never get habituated to one paste. And second thing is, usually we prefer white paste, like white colored paste, like Colgate calcium and things like that. And kids, it's always better to go for fluoridated toothpaste as per their age. We can see that kids fluoridated from 2 to below 2, 1 paste, 2 to for one paste, 4 to 7. So in that, the difference is the amount of fluorine in that fluoride. The amount of fluoride in those pastes is like calculated according to the age of the patient. Because if you give our like Colgate calcium or like a paste which has more of fluoride to a kid, and if they happen to swallow it, it can cause more damage than, you know, good. So kids always go for their age calibrated paste, you know, and adults preferably a white paste. And another thing is, paste is basically a lubricant. Paste is only a medium which we use to brush our teeth. The more important factor is how we brush our teeth. So that is very important. Another thing is, some people have the habit of using powder. Powder is very abrasive. So I would suggest never use a dental powder, like paste powder. Always try to use a paste, and never stick to one paste, keep switching. Because like, for example, I told you, a few of my patients, they come with the, you know, they are all used to using these desensitizing paste, habituated, like it's been there for years. So that has caused us few problems for them, you know, like for example, they don't come to know of their cavities and things like that. So keep switching your paste. Don't stick to just one, but preferably white paste, because these gels have more of sweeteners in that. All these gels have sweetening agents, so they say that is more caries prone, you know. So white paste is supposed to be the best, but no brands here.
Thank you, doctor. Just one secret question: which paste, which brand you are using? Because in advertisement, every doctor, I'm using this, I'm using this. So you are here now. We are going to ask you which.
Secret
so
YouTube live, not bad. Yeah, actually, I keep switching paste. I don't stick to just one paste. I prefer white paste, like Colgate calcium, but I keep switching paste. I don't stick to one paste. But so again, I told you, seriously, it is not the paste; it is the way you brush that's important.
Yeah, got it.
Madam has mentioned Colgate calcium.
Okay. Yeah. Secret revealed. Okay.
No, actually, it's not like that. It's not just Colgate calcium. I swear, I keep changing my paste. It's never one. But I do suggest white paste to my patients.
Okay, thank you.
Many people don't like the taste of Colgate calcium. So even in my house, it doesn't go much. You know, they prefer the gel paste, but preferably white.
Thank you so much, doctor. Dr. Shivans, I have some questions related to the lockdown on the kids' health. Like many parents are asking, they are in a lockdown and they are doing indoor learning. So they are concerned about the vitamin D deficiency first. Second, the mental health of the kids. Then the third, the question they're asking is, which is better, whether I have to send the kids to the school or e-learning is better. So these are the repeated questions which parents are asking in the forum. So can you just please guide us over this lockdown and all these issues?
Yeah. See, in UAE, vitamin D deficiency is quite common. Even before the lockdown, also the kids they don't play outside in the sunlight. We Indians do have misconception that vitamin D is more prevalent more in morning sunlight. But if you go through the literature, vitamin D is more after 11 o'clock, which is the mid-afternoon, and nobody will send their kids outside in the afternoon. Otherwise, they will get sunburn or tan or something. So what I suggest, even the American Academy of Pediatrics, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, they do recommend, please give vitamin D to your most of the kids. 2 months, you can have a break. Again, 2-3 months, you can have a break like that. Reason behind this is vitamin D is only available in the sunlight, and it is synthesized by the skin, and no food is the source of vitamin D. So ideally, all the kids, they should receive vitamin D depending upon their outing, depending upon how frequently they are going out. But what I do recommend, it's better to give vitamin D to most of the kids every 2-3 months. You can do the testing, and depending upon your doctor's suggestions, like if the child doesn't have leg pain or some bone issues or some teeth dental issues, then it's okay, you can have break. But I think in a year we should take 2 to 3 months, can have gap, another 2 to 3 months vitamin D, and then you can switch over. Initial 2 years of life, the kids, they have walking, their bone development and everything. So Indian Academy of Pediatrics, American Academy of Pediatrics, they recommend 400 to 800 international unit of vitamin D2 daily. In children, we don't give the weekly doses. because the absorption has some issue. We should give daily if possible, at least 4 to 5 days in a week. Your second questions like third question, which is better, distance learning or like this one? So it depends, even in my house also, I was recommending school face-to-face learning, but most of the kids, families, parents, they were not willing to send the kids. So finally, we have to accept the distance learning. I had seen the kids playing in the park for more than 2 months, and they didn't do anything. And if you come to my society also, they don't follow anything, no mask, no social distancing, nothing. I had visited the school, and they follow a strict norm. Department of Health, ADEC, they have recommended school opening. Obviously, they must be having something in their mind because they don't want the children to suffer because of the screen timing, screen issue, some mental issues, and the eyes issue. So that's why they recommended this one, face-to-face learning. As per me, what I feel, face-to-face learning is okay because schools are following this one, proper guidelines, social distancing. What you should do, you should try to teach the kids to how to use the mask, how to use the sanitizer when they go to school. And finally, we have to follow the Department of Health and ADEC rules. But still, I would feel schooling is not a problem because there are many issues with the distance learning. For those especially having a lot of more glasses and headache issue and the weight gain and obesity like that. Another question was regarding the mental issues. Because of staying at home, the kids, they are addicted to the mobiles, they are addicted to the TV, they are more towards the YouTube and other things. What I feel and I recommend to my parents, like whenever they are doing the distance learning, please abide from using the mobiles and the TV as less as possible. Because already they are spending 4 to 6 hours in front of the screen. You all know we have started using this mobiles, laptops and computers, I think after 22 years. The kids, they have developing retina, their eyes are developing, so they have direct effect, plus the radiation, screen time, internet effect on the brain. We don't know how much it will affect. So it's better whenever possible, when the class is over, don't let them watch TV or mobile if possible. Then what to do? There are so many indoor things available. Like for example, you can have carom games, you can have chess, you can have ludo, even you can do exercise with your kids. The same thing I do with my kids also. See, we always complain that we don't have time, we are busy, we are on the system or other things. Actually, children, they don't need anything, they just need time. If you spend time with them, if just play anything, even that ghoda and all, something also, depending upon the age, it's okay. But just you have to tell them that, okay, I am with you, but just don't use the mobile or don't use any other thing. But if the child is really having some behavioral issues like getting more scared or getting clingy, cranky and gaining weight or something, better to take the kids out. There are two important things which I am telling the parents. In UAE, government of UAE and Department of Health, they have taken very good control of the corona. They are really following the rules and the people also following the rules. So as per the knowledge, and most of the hospitals, they are free from the serious cases. Children forget. Whatever the cases number we are seeing, they are mostly asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. So the serious virus is not present in UAE. And most of the hospitals are free from the COVID cases. So mostly the cases are mild or asymptomatic. So this is the time you can take your kids out, maybe open area, maybe parking, maybe cycling or something like that. At least they will feel better and they can, these all behavioral issues will get sorted out.
That was very informative, Doctor.
Thank you.
I hope the parents are relieving on this lockdown stress and from the kids, concern about the kids' health and all these issues. I have one more question from a member, Mr. Balamurugan. His concern is just something about the teeth grinding during sleep.
Okay. Actually, there are 2-3 issues. As per the studies, mostly the worm infestation, they can cause teeth grinding. So most of the kids, those who are having the teeth grinding, they should receive that, albendazole and that worm medications. 2 doses they should receive. Secondly, they should rule out whether the child has a mouth breathing or not. Because if the child teeth are open, the saliva will not, have the lubrication over the teeth, and it will be exposed. And because of more exposure, there will be more grinding. So first thing, we should give the worm medication. Secondly, we should rule out whether there is any nose block and child has a mouth breathing. If child has a mouth breathing, it could be because of the adenoids, it could be because of the tonsils or anything. So these two things need to be, like addressed. But if everything is fine and still the child is having teeth grinding, then the thing is like the pediatric dentist or the dentist, I think they suggest some bracing to avoid the damage to the enamel and causing the future damage to the teeth. This is the last resort. But most of the kids, they get better with these two issues: worm medications and just the rule out the nose breathing, the mouth breathing. The things will be better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, there is one question from my side. The milk teeth. I think the question is common for both of the doctors here. The milk teeth span for I have a 10-month-old daughter. So I just want to know when the permanent teeth start to appear.
It will the
And
first.
what is the lifespan of milk teeth?
No, the answer will be different for that, because the first permanent tooth appears when you are 6-year-old. It starts with the first molar tooth that comes from behind, and then you have your lower incisors which will shed, and your next incisor will come, the first permanent incisor and the first molar. So it comes from behind, and then one comes from the front. But lifespan of a milk tooth, it is, starting from the centrals to you have the second molars also. So that will go on till the child is 12 years old. 12 to 13 years old. By the time 12, 13, all the milk teeth should have gone. From like say 6 years, the permanent teeth will start erupting. So by say another 9 years, 10 years, and once the second molars have also erupted, we also would suggest something like, how you vaccinate your children for, major diseases. There is a way you can actually prevent caries also in these kids. If your child is 10 or maybe say 13 or something, you should come to a dentist, and they will actually put a layer of fluoride. It's a fluoride treatment, we call it. Either fluoride treatment, which will help that starts at an earlier age, like say 6 years you can start. And then you can give something called a Pitton-Fisher sealant, which is not it's not something that we have to cut a cavity or anything. It is not an operative procedure like that. You don't have to cut the cavity. It's just putting a small layer of filling over your teeth to just shallow down the deep grooves on your teeth. Because you can see that when your kids eat chocolate and other sticky food, you can see that the grooves on the teeth are all filled with this chocolate. With just brushing, it may not go. So that is what usually make it get decayed. So you can actually put a small layer called the Pitton-Fisher sealant on the teeth, which will prevent caries in future, at least from the top surface.
Mr. Sivabalan, I would like to tell one important thing. Many parents, they do think that, the milk teeth, even if they get caries or cavities, nothing to worry. Many parents, they do come to us like, these are the milk teeth, nothing to worry. But the most important thing, the permanent teeth, they are already sitting, at that particular place. So if the milk teeth also get cavities, and if the roots are affected, the new teeth, permanent teeth also can get affected. So if even the milk teeth, they are having cavities, ideally you should treat it with the pediatric dentist or whatever dentist. But you should never neglect, otherwise the permanent teeth also will get damaged.
Another thing is when that was a very good point, Dr. Suvansh, because another thing is, when these milk teeth get decayed, they kind of get smaller in size, so accordingly the other teeth will also kind of get closer to each other. So it will actually hamper the space available for the permanent teeth. So we can see that in kids who have very decayed teeth during their childhood, they have the tendency to have crowding of teeth when they get bigger. And if you leave it, very true, doctor, because a lot of people actually think, milk teeth, and it's okay. It will go in another 2 years. But 2-3 things for that. One is your child gets a decayed tooth when he's 7 years old, which is going to stay in his mouth till he's 13 years. If you just leave it like that multiple times, your child is going to get infection, and you will be just giving antibiotics, letting the child suffer from so much of pain. So definitely not a good idea. Even if it's a milk tooth, adu sotta irna adu kandipa treat panniyada agum.
Okay, Dr. Ridhi, thank you. Actually, Dr. Ridhi ma'am, I have 2 more questions from our members. There is one thing about the tooth whitening facts and myth, and there is one more about some members are asking about there is a color mentioned in the paste, like red, black, green. What is the difference? Why the color is mentioned in the paste? So how to choose? What is the difference?
I think I don't know about that actually. This was asked. I mean, I read about it also, the color difference, but honestly, I haven't really looked into it.
Okay.
So I think it is about the acidic and the base, maybe something to do with the chemical composition.
Yeah, it's due to chemical. Those who are herbal, they are having green color, and those with chemicals, they will have some red color.
Yeah, which is more hazardous probably will be
Red.
color code. The explanation should be given in that itself. I'm not really sure about that. About whitening, I can tell you. Whitening, it's a very significant question these days, because a lot of youngsters are into this bleaching and getting the teeth whitened. One thing we should understand is whitening is actually taking away a small micro-millimeter from your tooth surface. So it's basically just taking a small layer, and it definitely gives a much brighter shade, but in the long run it can lead to yellowing of your teeth. It is something that you should not do too often. It is something that you should do, okay, if you have really yellow teeth and you're really it is affecting your personality and all that, yes, you can get it done, but not in a habitual way. And because of whitening, a lot of people can develop sensitivity also. So I would suggest, if at all you need a whitening, I will always suggest you to consult a dentist first, because these days we get a lot of online strips and all that for whitening. And a lot of people are trying it, online strips. So what happens is, adu pota, unless you know the exact amount of light that should be given or the exact amount of chemical that you should use, adu romba koosnadhukku chance irukku. Nariya peru vandirukku, they hold their hands like this and they come, because even and the moochi vidanappo kuda romba koosna madri oru feeling, so that is something that you should always be aware that is not good for your teeth. Because it's so easily available, people have the tendency to do it multiple times, which is also not good. Know that bleaching is actually taking away a slight layer of your tooth, and it is not good to do it very often. Once in a while is okay, no problem, but it is a strong chemical, so definitely it is not good for our teeth. Another thing that people go for is something called this Hollywood smile. I don't know, our Indians are not that like interested, or I haven't really seen many people who do that. But in case anybody is thinking about it, I would suggest think twice. Never go for it unless you have really a reason, or unless it's that unaesthetic, unless you have multiple restorations on your anterior teeth. Never go for Hollywood smile and all that.
If in that case, what is the natural color of the tooth?
See, it depends from person to person, because we all have a wheatish complexion. We are Indians, we have a wheatish complexion. We cannot get a tube-like white teeth. It is totally it is basically, I think God has made us perfect the way we are. So as per our complexion, he has given us our teeth. But some people have some genetic issues. Like, for example, suppose your mother had some medicines while she was carrying you, and some, like, say, tetracycline, something like that. Some people have the tetracycline stains on their teeth, some intrinsic stains, we call it. That is not really your fault. Sometimes developmental issues will be there. In such cases, we don't have an option. We have to opt for a treatment. But otherwise, each person has a shade according to their complexion. The British people, they are so white, their teeth are also so white. We have a whitish complexion, so our teeth are a little to the, A2 is like the average. A2 we call it. That is, not white, not yellow also, in between the two. That is what is normal for all of us.
Ma'am, this question is brushing with salt twice a day or once, which is better?
Neither. Never brush with salt. Again, see, I told you, when you brush with salt is an abrasive. It is very grindy, so it can abrade your teeth surface. Even people have this habit of doing with sodium bicarbonate also, sodium bicarbonate and lime. They feel that you use that and your teeth becomes whiter. They put salt, they think that it can make it cleaner. But this is actually going to wear away your enamel. the continuous use of salt will actually wear away the enamel, and later on in life it can cause sensitivity. Some people have the habit of putting salt directly onto the gums. Like, for example, they have a pain on the gums. I have seen people who have put salt directly, kept salt there. But we all know that, you put a fruit in salt for some time, you can see how that it is the water content in the salt is, the fruit is taken out. It becomes dehydrated. Same way, if you put directly that salt onto your mucosa, the skin, the inner skin, it's very soft. It can get burned, it gets totally dehydrated and it gets burned. So never apply salt directly onto the tooth or the gum surfaces. Instead, you can put salt in warm water and rinse your mouth once in a while. Like, say, once a day you can do that. That is good. But never ever apply salt directly as it is to clean your teeth.
Okay, doctor, very thanks for that. Maybe most of the people are using salt. Maybe they get cleared of this. And
Yeah,
Dr. Shivans, I have,
Yeah, we know our elder generation, they used to use this ummikari, we call in Malayalam, charcoal, that was used for brushing. But again, those days, they didn't have many cavities, but it is also a very abrasive thing. So fine charcoal is actually in trend now also. People use that. But that's very fine.
In paste also they are using charcoal nowadays. The paste with salt, with charcoal, something like that.
But it is not in its pure form. No, like it's not that that abrasiveness is gone. It's a very fine form that comes. So less harmful.
I also used during my childhood, I think.
I have also seen people using it, and actually they had very white teeth, probably because of the abrasiveness.
Yeah, they have strong teeth.
After a while,
Ma'am, I have one question. It's regarding my daughter only. Actually, what happened, like the pul, the moment it started shaking, she was doing it aggressively and just she broke it. And I can see like the other tooth which is coming behind it. So will it affect or the broken one will fell down after some time, that milky tooth, or how it will be? Because I was a bit worried, because she was like, everyone have that tendency the moment it was shaking, like even when we were kids, like we were keep on shaking it. So adu panni adu off udanjது. So I just want to know whether it will affect them or it will fell down that milky tooth, or how it will.
Yeah, I understand. Why do you think அது உடைஞ்சு வந்திருக்குது? Do you see any broken piece inside, or is it because of the shape of the tooth that came out?
No, I can see that small white color thing. So I'm not sure whether that is a teeth itself or something else. So it's like a white layer I can see. So I thought it is a teeth only.
Yeah, it would be the tooth. Actually, when she's pulled out the tooth, the milk tooth, when it falls off, it looks like it is broken because அதுக்கு வேரெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் நல்லா தேங்கி தான் அது ஆட ஆரம்பிக்கும். So அது எடுக்கும்போது அது உடைஞ்ச மாதிரி தான் தெரியும். It won't have a fine surface. It won't have the whole root or anything. So what you see might be the permanent teeth, and if at all some root piece is remaining, when the permanent tooth comes out, it becomes like totally pushes this to the superficial layer, and we can just pull it out just like that. So first of all, I doubt if it is anything is remaining inside. Secondly, even if it is remaining, when the permanent tooth comes out, it will be just pushed out.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sendil. Dr. Shivans, I have one question from a member.
Yes.
His name is Murali. He's asking how to tackle the motion and constipation issues on kids as well as newborn babies.
In newborn babies, in both the age group, the things are different. Like in newborn babies, the motions, even if they are passing more than 15 to 20 times, provided the baby is active, feeding nicely, playing nicely, and gaining weight, nothing to worry. Even if the baby is not passing motion for 5 to 10 days also, provided the motions are soft, baby is not straining, and baby is gaining weight and feeding nicely, both the things are fine. But yes, if the child is having really constipation, like the not able to pass stool, like it's a really hard stool, then yes, we should investigate. If the child is on breastfeeding, then we have to investigate for the thyroid disorders, or maybe sometimes the maternal intake of the water or fluids can be less, or sometimes maybe there can be some issues in the local anal area. Maybe you need to put something or give medication. But mostly in children, constipation is not common. Those babies are breastfed. Yes, there are issues like babies, they don't pass motion for 5 to 10 days, but that is fine. provided babies are gaining weight, active, and the stools are soft. So motion issue, even if it is more in the number or like less in the number, that is not an issue. In newborn babies, like up to 3, 4, 6 month babies, those are on breastfeeding. But once you start feeding like weaning food, semi-solid food, then if the child is getting constipation, yes, then you might need to worry, because then the water intake can be less. So your second question, like the constipation in the older age group. So it's been more than 2 months. We are seeing maybe out of 10 cases, 8 to 9 cases are constipation cases. The reason behind constipation is the faulty dietary technique. I used to give the parents the chart which I prepared for them, which food to be avoided and which not to be avoided. In constipation, the most important thing is the fluid intake. If you remember, in India, we used to finish, one bottle at one time. But here, because we are staying inside the room, all AC, I don't think so. Kids, they are drinking even enough water. The one bottle is also not finishing. So obviously they are getting constipation. So what I do suggest, ask the kids, assign one bottle for them and ask them to finish the bottle. When the kids are above 5 years, 6 years, mostly the parents, they don't go and see the consistency of the stool. And mostly they will come when the things are really serious. Like they will have some anal abrasions, some people, they will have fissures. So what I suggest, always, like once in a week, you go and ask the child not to flush the toilet before, like just you go and observe. If you feel there is little bit hardness or the stools are not proper, you can manage at home by giving lot of fluids. Papaya and watermelons and the prune juice, these are the best for the constipation. And most of the South Indian people, they have this misconception, the banana is really good for constipation, but this is not true. Banana is a constipating food. So if you are thinking that banana will help to, make the stool soft, no, it has a lot of fibers. It is really good in fibers for the normal people. It is really good for those with a diarrhea because it gives potassium and it makes a well-formed stool. But those with a constipation, banana can be hazardous. You should avoid banana for constipation. Second, again, important for the whole Indian population and the Pakistani population also, milk. Many parents, they do give milk to the kids because they feel my child is not eating and they are just feeding them milk. I'm seeing the kids, 10 kilo kids, they are drinking 800, 900 ml of milk. Another constipating factor is the milk. Milk is the most constipating as per the researcher. So if you feel the milk is a liquid, no, it is not liquid. It is a constipating. So if you are facing constipation in your kids, please avoid milk as a primary food. Don't give milk if they are having constipation. Yes, you can give other like milk after the constipation is over. But if there is a serious constipation, you should avoid milk. So no banana, no milk, and less proteins if the child is having constipation. But yes, once the constipation is fine, you can give everything, not an issue. But sometimes you might need to give medication for treating constipation if it is really serious and child is having issues. Because 99% cases of constipation, many parents, they don't then go and see. Many kids, they are reluctant to tell the parents, and they have anal abrasions, lot of anal bleed. And when there is an anal bleed, then yes, you have to start medication and you have to follow the diet also.
Thank you so much, doctor. I hope parents will continue following the bottle of water concept.
Yes.
Yeah. And just I have one last question from a member. This is about the child obesity issues. So how to determine the food intake quantity and or non-veg foods increases kids' weight? This is the question.
See, there are so many issues actually, like obesity. See, obesity is very simple for adults as well as child. Either more calorie intake and less calorie burn expenditure. So these are the two things. So if you are sitting at home and not doing anything, like nowadays because of this distance learning and the lockdown, the children, they are just sitting. So they have to burn out the calories by doing anything. They can do skipping, they can do cycling or whatever. Regarding the food, mostly in children, we don't like actually pediatrician, they don't recommend dieting. That is not a concept for the children because they're the growing babies. They grow vertically and they grow horizontally, and they need lots of vitamins, minerals, as well as the calories. So the calorie restriction is not a perfect solution for the children for obesity. But yes, you should avoid oily food, you should avoid junk food, and if you are really planning to reduce the weight, it should not be more than 1 to 2 kilo per month. But yes, if the child has really lost the weight like 1 kilo or 2 kilo, then you can have the cheating, like they can have once in a month junk food or whatever they like. Second thing, please avoid oily food, or if you are adding more oil, that you can avoid. Everybody knows like that you can avoid. And the third most important thing, try to fill the tummy with the fruits, vegetables, and salads. This is for us people also. You know, if you go to hotels or everywhere, there is a habit of eating fruits and vegetables after the food. Actually, that is a wrong concept. I will explain how. See, the fruits and vegetables, they are really absorbed when the tummy is empty. Okay, if you are eating fruits and vegetable after the food, it will be like a garbage. It's not absorbed and it is just excreted as it is. So the fruits and vegetables which we are eating for the vitamins and minerals, they are not being absorbed. For the adults, actually, it's good. We will be eating less calories and we will be filling the tummy with the fruits and vegetables. So in both ways, it's good. And for the obese babies also, what you should do, try to fill the baby's tummy with the fruits, vegetables, and juice before actual milk. Like if you are given salads, you are given watermelons, or you are given papaya, apple, they will eat less chapati and less rice or less sweet things. So this is both the way actually good. You understood my point? So fruits and vegetables and salads you can give before food. In between, whenever child is hungry, just give them carrots, cucumber, or whatever maybe the salads instead of biscuits or anything else. That will reduce the obesity. Regarding the non-vegetarian food, actually non-vegetarian food is really rich in the proteins and the iron. So ideally should not be avoided. And it doesn't cause actually the obesity. But yes, the goat meal and the lamb meal, it is more fatty as compared to the fish and the chicken. So the fish meal is really good. It's healthy. It doesn't have much more calories and it's rich in protein and iodine. Chicken is very good for the proteins and iron as well as the lamb meat. But yes, how the way you cook, like if it is really oily biryani or if you are doing the oil fry, then obviously it will help, it will increase the calories. But as such non-vegetarian food, it doesn't cause that much obesity. It's very good for the iron and the proteins. Actually, no dieting for the children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Ravi, thank you. Thank you for this, the secret of dieting. And the last question to Dr. Nidhi ma'am. This is about flossing from Mr. Srinivasan. So he just wanted to know flossing and its importance in oral health.
I just spoke a little while about flossing. நம்ம பல் வளர்க்குனதுக்கு அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் floss பண்ணா அது calculus வரனதுக்கு, you know, it will help you to stop the formation of calculus. Second thing is, like you said, when you have food stuck, no, flossing you should try. If you think that it is difficult, you should try the waxed floss. Waxed floss are the in the madri stuck agadu. It's like smooth. Now again, if you think your floss is getting stuck, it means there is a cavity there. You know, the teeth surface is not smooth. There is something happening there. So floss will also help you to find out if, you know, all is good. So if the floss is getting stuck and if there is some rough surface in between teeth and if it is breaking when it's coming out, it means there's something wrong. One. Second is, usually, you know, earlier days people had the habit of using a toothpick. But what happens is when you use a toothpick, you are actually compressing your gums and you're pushing it. So eventually you will start, you know, it will harm your gums. Your gums will go down and the area where the toothpick is going, you will form a small, you know, depression on the tooth surfaces, causing sensitivity. So that is why we always say flossing is a better procedure. And flossing is definitely good because it will help you to prevent the cavities that develop in between teeth, which is one of the most dangerous type of cavities, because we don't come to know of such cavities till it starts giving you some symptoms. So I would suggest please start flossing at least once a day before you go to sleep. If you floss, it is something really good that you can do. It will not only help you prevent cavities, but also it will help you to fight calculus also. It can prevent. And if you don't like normal floss, try to use a waxed floss, which is thin floss. Good enough. It should do the job.
Thank you, doctor. I think the wax floss is like a new concept for the people who are hearing.
Yeah, even for me, I got a free sample of this one, you know, what you call flossing, but I am really scared actually. I didn't know it is this much important, even being a doctor also. That's really good.
Yeah, but you know, most of us didn't know, but you know, we all have the habit of using that I mean, a lot of patients who come to me, most of them don't know about flossing. We have
But
to.
madam, but if we do the flossing, won't it make the more space and extra space for the food to lodge? Like already it is a pack and you are making it more. Is it like that?
No, actually, that is yet another doubt a lot of people had, that aren't we creating space by doing that? But because of the elasticity of the periodontal ligaments, that is the supporting tissue of the teeth, they are slightly elastic. So it has the tendency to come back. It has the inborn nature to come back. So we're not really creating any space by doing that. Second, some people have the fear of hurting your gums, That is again because you might have tight contacts. You might just push down the thread, and a lot of people say that bleeding because of flossing. Again, that is because of we are using a thick floss or an unwaxed floss. If you use a thin and waxed floss, it usually goes in, and there is a way to do it also. You should twirl it around your fingers, push it down slowly, just rotate it once and then pull it out. You'll be surprised to see the amount of food that comes out from your gums by flossing, especially non-vegetarians. When you eat something like meat and it really gets stuck in, and if it is bothering you, flossing does magic. It's very useful.
Okay, doctor, thank you so much for the nice explanation.
Yeah,
I think we are end of the program vandachi. So doctors, you have any advice for the parents on this lockdown period, corona period, for the kids as well as for the dental health? Any final advice before we complete the program?
I would recommend that during this lockdown, and if you are not taking your kids out, at least do something at home also. You can do a lot of activities, anything, but don't let the kids, just sit. You just imagine if the kids are sitting at home for 3-4 months, and if they are gaining around 5 to 10 kilo weight, just imagine during the adulthood how they will manage when they will be doing the office work. They are tend to have obesity. Actually, this is tendency to go for obesity, and the obesity is an invitation for adulthood diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and so many things. So let them enjoy the childhood, let them eat whatever they want, but they need more physical activity. So you can manage as per your time, duties, and your area, but take them out or just have something inside house at least.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Niti ma'am, do you have any?
You were saying that last 8 months you haven't your child didn't have any fever, you haven't taken her to hospital, but surprisingly I can see that for the past 3 months we have been very busy. Dentists have been very busy because of, I think, the lockdown period. People are wearing masks, washing hands, so they're not getting any fever and respiratory diseases and all that, but I think a lot of them are damaging their teeth. A lot of them having teeth issues. They are coming with a lot of teeth issues, probably because they kept it, not being treated for the 3 months, and suddenly, they're just coming and getting them treated. So while we are at home, avoid junk food, avoid all this. Like Dr. Suvansh was saying, I think we should add more of fruits and, people. My son was coming and telling me one day that, Mama, please get me some pocket fruits. I was like, what? And then he said, pocket fruits, like apple, grapes, which he can, because we were buying a lot of mangoes. So he said, mangoes, he can't slice and eat, so he has to depend on someone. So he wants us to get him apples, grapes, pear, things that they can just grab and then they can just nibble on. So we can probably get something like that. Another thing what I want to tell is, a lot of people are afraid about getting treatment done during corona times. A lot of people are avoiding because they don't come to us unless there is an emergency. So I think on behalf of NMC, RFMC, I can assure you that our hospital has been doing an amazing job. And as far as the virus is concerned, I was not here for a long time. For almost 4 months we were away. But then I was so proud to see that our hospital, not many people actually got the virus. So they were actually following all the protocols and instructions, and they've been doing a wonderful job. So everyone is safe. Don't keep things to the last minute. Definitely get them treated. We are all taking all measures to keep you all safe. So stay safe. God bless.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Actually, we are coming to the end of the program. First of all, Dr. Ravichandran, so for arranging this program, for gathering the NMC team with us, and very sincere thanks to Dr. Suvansh. Thank you, sir, because your valuable time for sharing a lot of information. The parents can useful.
I really enjoyed this program.
Sorry, I said something in Tamil because your informations are very valuable to the parents, and I should talk Tamil in Nidhi ma'am. To Nidhi ma'am. Nidhi ma'am, ரொம்ப நன்றி. And உங்களோட தமிழ் உச்சரிப்புக்கு நிறைய ஃபேன்ஸ் இப்போ வந்திருக்காங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ். மேபி இன்னொரு ப்ரோக்ராம் நம்ம எல்லாரும் சந்திக்கலாம். We'll meet in another session, Dr. Shwans. I'm thanking for Sendil for joining this. Thanking Mr. Shankar, and thanking everyone who is watching now. And sorry, this is my first program who is organizing this. So if any misspelled or anything, please forgive me. So I hope I'll improve the next session. Once again, I will thanks everyone for organizing this and achieving this program. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Bye.